You must forgive our irksome Will. He's been on the beer and feeling ill.
You are most welcome to this cast of pod, wherein we do expound on Doctor Who. My given name is Stephen, and by God, I have been a fan since I was 10 and 2.
My name is Ben, and I'm not a fan. And ere this pod, the show I've never seen. But now, for Stephen's sake, for he's my man, I watch it and discuss it scene by scene.
Today we've watched a certain episode whose reputation's not perhaps the best. The one in question is the Shakespeare Code. 'Tis shameful that the writer is a pest. But let's not dwell on writers' hateful crime. For verily we say, 'tis about time. Hello.
Hello.
First of all, you would not believe how many takes that took to do that little introduction.
Well, we just crossed 6 minutes.
Ben couldn't get through his lines without laughing. I don't know why.
I don't know. It was just funny.
I think you just find it awkward reading from a script.
And it's funny because you think I struggled to do one line and then you gave me 5.
I would say, how are we today? But we've had a bit of a disaster this evening.
We have.
A disaster as far as Ben's concerned, anyway.
Yes.
So, because we were recording and it's been a long week, we thought we would have a takeaway just to make things easier.
Yeah.
But Ben didn't get half his order. Half his order was missing. And if you know Ben, you know, do not mess with his food.
No.
Because there's one thing that's guaranteed to piss him off, and it's that. So yeah, it was hard, wasn't it? You had a bit of a meltdown.
I did.
We'd started watching the episode, and I paused it, and you were like, "This is a piece of shit. Turn that off. I'm not doing a podcast tonight."
Well, it is a piece of shit.
Well, yes, we're going to discuss that. But thankfully, you're feeling a bit better now. Yeah, I said, "What can I do to cheer you up?" And you were like, "We haven't even got any ice cream. Make me feel better." So I went and got you some ice cream.
Yeah.
It's the least I could do. Love you.
I love you.
So anyway, as you'll have worked out from our fancy flowery introduction, we've watched the Shakespeare Code today by a certain Gareth Roberts. Right at the top, I just want to say Gareth Roberts is a piece of shit. Transphobic, vocally so. Just a vile person online, on Twitter.
Oh.
He's written quite a few episodes of Doctor Who, and his views started to come out later on.
Oh dear.
On Twitter, but yeah, he's really horrible. He's not just transphobic, but he's also, like, I would say misogynistic and, like, just hateful towards everyone.
Oh.
So yeah,
we do not condone this activity.
We don't. And so he's not a nice person. Some of his episodes I quite like, and actually this one I historically have quite liked it, to be fair. Less so as time's gone on, and then watching it tonight with you, I think I was conscious of all the time thinking, oh, what's Ben going to be thinking? And I think watching it tonight, I was like, this is really not a very good episode. However, we don't do that in this podcast anymore. We start with something nice. So, Ben, say something positive about the Shakespeare Code.
Martha.
Okay, Martha again. You said Martha last time.
Martha has eclipsed Rose. Completely has.
Yes.
I resonate with her more because she's witty, she's smart. I feel like she actually adds something to the adventure.
I like the fact that she asks a lot of intelligent questions. Like, you know, when they first got out the TARDIS and immediately she's asking about time travel, like, oh, you know, can I move about? Like, what if I step on a butterfly? And, like, Rose never thought of any of that.
I thought she said, but something.
No, butterfly.
Yeah.
As in, the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So she asks intelligent questions.
She does.
She also, though, there was that bit where she said about not being white.
Yes.
And the doctor basically said, oh, I'm not even human. Just go with it. It'll be fine.
I do think that was frivolous to say.
It is.
Because
they tried to address the issue that obviously, you know, Martha as the first black companion going back in time and visiting these different eras, it is a problem that she's going to face. but it's like they wanted to bring it up and then not actually deal with it properly and just say, oh, don't worry about it. It's almost like they wanted to say, in case any viewers were wondering about this issue, we're just going to say, don't worry about it. It's a bit like how he said to her in the TARDIS at the beginning. She said, how does it travel in time? And he said, oh, don't worry about it. It just does.
Yeah. Like, for me, like, I love this new age of historical, what would you call it? Historical programming.
Period dramas.
Yeah. So, like...
where they cast it race blind.
Yes.
Is that what you're thinking?
That has become... I personally think the reason why Bridgerton... The source material is not brilliant. Don't get me wrong. I've tried to read the book.
Oh, is it based on books?
Yeah, it's based on loads of books. Each sibling has a book.
Okay.
But don't get me wrong. Like the books are dribble, and I've tried to read it and not my cup of tea. But because what they've done with it is, I think, very special, and casting it racially blind is brilliant. But it also brushes under the carpet like a lot of the problem times that.
Yes.
So I do think it's very important to address.
That's the thing. There's two sides to it.
Yeah. I do.
It's two separate issues, really.
Yeah. But I do think it's important, like, to have these frivolous and beautifully cast and timeless pieces. But it's also important to have historically accurate period dramas as long as you address the problems of that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas this just brushed it under the carpet and said, we don't need you to think about that. It's like a 40-minute show. Just stop thinking.
Yeah. So I will say that in the rest of Series 3, this will come up again and it will be dealt with similarly. But the next time we get a full-time companion who is not white, which takes quite a while, I think it takes about 10 years between Martha and the next non-white companion, which is pretty bad. Yeah. By that time, I would say they do deal with it a lot more sensitively. Yeah. It's Moffat.
But also, if you think about it in the new era with Russell T Davies...
What, the brand new one?
The Doctor's going to have to think about himself.
I'm so excited.
And think about how he sits, how he now sits in... Because if you think about it, he's had Caucasian male power...
Oh, 100%, yeah. And he's recently had the experience of not being male and having that power shift.
Yeah.
You know, and like there's a Jodie...
another power shift.
Yeah, there's a Jodie Whittaker episode, like, where she goes back to the witch trials and stuff, and, like, being seen as a woman then is very different to how it would have been if she was a man at that point.
That sounds an amazing episode.
Yeah.
I love witches, but not the Caragonites.
The Caragonites.
Oh.
Yeah, have you seen the pictures of Ncuti Gatwa in, like, the 60s costume?
No, not really.
No. He looks amazing, and he's got an afro for it, which is very suitable for the period, obviously. But I was reading that he was unsure about doing the afro, but somebody was talking to him about it and convinced him to do it because of it being quite sort of powerful for the heritage, and, like, to see the Doctor with an authentic afro. Like, that's not something that we've seen before. Like, yeah.
Did he grow it out, or is it a wig?
I can't answer that. I don't know. It looks amazing, though.
Yeah.
I really can't wait for his era to begin. Yeah. Anyway, is there a hottie of the week for you? Is it Shakespeare?
It is.
Can I tell you mine before we move on to yours? Because
there is another attractive member of the audience.
Who?
It's just a random member of the audience.
Oh, a random extra?
Yeah.
Oh, who's that?
He had a very nice profile.
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't remember that person. No, I was going to say the lute man from the beginning who was serenading.
Oh, no. Actually, I tell you what. I've totally blasé him. That's not even a word. The man who opened the portal. He's quite...
Oh, the one in the black...
of the week.
Yeah. Betwixt Dravidian shores and all that. Yeah, he's not bad looking, actually, yeah. No, but I think I had to pick the lute man. He's like resident twink.
I'm going to pick the man who opened the portal.
The portal man.
Portal man.
Okay. But you like Shakespeare as well?
Yeah, I have a soft spot for men with beards.
Yeah.
And blue eyes.
Does he have blue eyes?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
May God, Stephen.
I don't know. I'm not very good at noticing eye colours.
Typical male. My eyes are up here.
So Shakespeare tell me about Shakespeare and what you thought about him.
What a fucking letdown.
I agree, to be fair.
Like, I just feel like he doesn't act. This is the problem with Doctor Who, I'm finding.
Yeah.
Is they go back in time, and because they want to make it accessible to an audience, they drop everything that makes the time special apart from the costume.
I think they do it differently in different episodes.
Like this episode,
This one,
I feel
100%.
I feel like they dropped... Okay, you don't have to talk in proper Shakespearean.
No, that they didn't talk like that then. Anyway, that was only in his writing. But no, I know exactly what you mean. This episode is a prime example of where they're trying to be like, oh, the past was long ago, but actually it was just the same as now. Like, and you know, like when the actors were hanging out and looking at the script, and one of them was like, oh, I never like sequels, they're never as good as the original. Like, he would never have said that. It's just a modern joke, but yeah.
Did the word sequel exist then?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Because the word sequel comes from the word sequence.
Yes. Maybe Shakespeare coined it. I don't know.
Oh.
Because he coined a lot of words, supposedly.
Bit like Roald Dahl, he coined some words.
Yes, and Lewis Carroll.
Yeah. And, oh my god, She Who Should Not Be Named was mentioned in this episode.
Yeah, oh, it's so awkward, isn't it?
It is so awkward.
Thing is, when I first watched this, when it aired, it was 2007.
Oh my god, we were year 10.
Yeah. The final Harry Potter book had not come out. So that line where he said about wait
When
till
did it come out?
It came out later that year.
Puke.
So this was the spring. It came out that summer.
You have a pound.
So it was quite clever, to be honest, quite clever writing to be like, oh, Doctor saying wait till you read book 7 because he'd read it in the future. Yeah. And at the time, like I don't mind admitting, I was a huge Harry Potter fan.
Yeah,
I have
you
been
were
for most of my life.
And the thing is, though, it was a huge part of mine and yours. A lot of the 90s babies.
Yeah.
Like, it was a huge part of our life.
Yeah. But yes, it makes me feel a bit ill now. Especially with Gareth Roberts being the writer and then mentioning, really glorifying J.K. Rowling. It's like two big transphobes giving themselves a high five in this episode.
Yeah.
And it's just very cringy.
Yeah, it just wasn't needed.
Yeah.
I know what they're doing. They're trying to capitalise on the success.
Yeah. And you could say they were trying to say, look, here's a really famous and successful writer from that time and a really successful, famous writer from now.
Yeah.
And sort of, put them together. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
I'm sorry, but like, if he heard a word like that, no way would he would totally use it.
I guess, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I do feel like having Shakespeare in a Doctor Who episode is such a, like, it had to be done because he's a great historical figure. Yeah. I just feel like this episode is quite disappointing in that they could have done something much better with him.
Yes. And if you think about the successes that they have done with Shakespeare as a character,
Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah. Like that come out before this or
before this, yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm sorry, like you've got great inspiration there.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were like
I love Shakespeare. Like I being a theatre person, I am interested in his work, but also I've always found him interesting as a person, like his biography, because there's a lot we don't know about him. And the bits we do know about him are interesting. Like when I was little, well, I was about 10 maybe, me and my mum tried to write a novel, a children's book about Shakespeare as a boy. It never went anywhere, but we took it really seriously, and we went to Stratford upon Avon, and we did like a research trip for it. And it's one of my favourite memories of my childhood, like working on that with my mum.
What chapter did you write?
Oh, I can't remember now, but we learned a lot about Shakespeare's life, and I've always found it interesting. What is your view on the Doctor and Martha's relationship at this point, and how the Doctor is treating Martha?
He is treating Martha as a welcome distraction.
Yeah.
From Little Miss Rosie.
Yeah.
Trapped in a parallel world.
Definitely a rebound.
100. That's why she's only one season.
I mean, for starters, it's the fact that he says to her, "Oh, I promised you one trip just to say thanks. We're just having one trip and then you're going home. Like, obviously, you can tell by the way a series is structured that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's just rude. Like, he clearly, on some level, he's in the market for another companion.
Yeah.
But he won't let himself believe that at the moment. But it means he's treating Martha like a second-class citizen. And then there's the fact that she is quite obviously giving signs that she's attracted to him, and he's so insensitive to that.
Like what?
So the particular scene I'm thinking of is the one where they're in the bedroom,
Oh, yeah.
and she gets on the bed and she's like, "Oh, not much room. Us two here, same bed. Tongues will wag," and he just ignores that. And then, I mean, fair enough, but it's the oh god, you know the worst bit. When he's trying to work it out and he goes, "Rose would know. She'd say the right thing."
That's the equivalent of saying your ex-partner's name during sex.
But apart from anything else, like, no, she wouldn't know
No,
what
she
to say.
absolutely would not.
She'd be exactly like Martha.
She'd be like, let's turn off the light.
what's he expecting Rose to say in that moment?
Let's turn off the light.
Yeah. He's being a dick. And I don't mind telling you that the 10th Doctor is a bit of a dick in this series, unfortunately. It's maybe something he has to learn from. But, yeah. Fun fact, though, apparently the original draft of the script, that scene included the Doctor stripping down to his underwear.
Oh.
But it was vetoed by Russell T Davies, I think, quite rightly. But, yeah.
Yeah, like, we do not have to know. Personally,
I can't imagine the Doctor wearing underwear.
I feel like the clothes of the Doctor are a part of him. They are born with clothes on.
That's not the case.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
We saw him pick his costume from hanging clothes in a wardrobe.
No, we didn't.
We did in the TARDIS.
We did not.
We did! They're clothes!
We didn't. We saw him pick a new skin.
Okay.
He assimilated the costume. It was like, I need to transform. I have residual energy left.
So how
I need
come
to
he
touch this.
How come he can take his coat off and hang it over the TARDIS thing?
Because it's like an appendage.
Oh, we're talking about the Doctor's appendage now.
It's like glasses. No, it's like a tongue. You can poke it in, poke it out.
Okay.
Like a gecko. A gecko can release its tail.
Can it?
Yes.
What, it can let go of its tail?
Yes, it can drop its tail.
What, and grow a new one?
No, it just stays tailless.
Why would it do that?
It does it because if it's like got caught by prey by the tail, it just drops it and goes.
Okay.
Or if it's frightened. I think those are two main reasons. If anybody knows any more reasons why
does it have a tail in the first place then? Does it help it balance
storage,
or something?
I think maybe to store fatty-ish tissue.
Oh, okay.
Like fats.
Okay.
Because they either live in deserts or they live in tropical, like, rainforesty things.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, this is fascinating gecko talk. We had the bisexual moment in this episode.
Ugh, if you can call it that.
Well, the thing is, because Shakespeare's sexuality has been a topic of discussion for years, decades, centuries.
Yeah.
Because he wrote a lot of sonnets, which are poems, obviously.
No.
Sorry, all right. Stephen's splaining again.
Yes, I did it at school.
Yeah, so he wrote, I think, 154 sonnets he wrote. Some of them are to women, some of them are to men. And it's a subject of debate whether these ones to men are romantically inclined or more platonic.
Well, you'd have to read them.
Well, no, but the thing is they come across to our modern understanding in a very suggestive or romantic way. But some people argue that that's because affection was different back then and it was more acceptable to be affectionate towards people of the same gender.
No.
Maybe I'm not...
You could get hung.
What, in Shakespeare's time?
Yeah. Homosexuality was illegal.
Mm-hmm. What time did it become illegal?
Because if it wasn't illegal, then they could just... Gay men would have been... And gay women would have been just living together.
Mm. The Buggery Act of 1533. So yes, by that time it would have been illegal. You were right. Well done. But yeah, anyway, it's a subject of debate, and I would say most people probably believe that he wasn't straight. But yeah, anyway, the point being that when he then turns to the doctor and it's a bit flirty with him, after having been flirting with Martha, it's like proof that he was bisexual. So that's what the doctor was like, 57 academics just punched the air.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were... Because I missed it at first. I went on my phone.
Yeah, you suddenly went on bloody Instagram and I heard something.
Yeah, I unlocked my phone because I was moving to get comfortable. I unlocked it out of habit and looked at it.
I was like, excuse me, what are you doing? We're watching Doctor Who. You do not go on your phone.
You go on your phone.
No, I'm making notes. And I've seen it a million times before. Anyway, and I said, you missed the bisexual bit. And you were like, what? Show me.
I thought the doctor was coming out bisexual.
Well, wouldn't surprise me.
Why do we not have it as the doctor?
What?
Why is he not?
He generally doesn't have attractions to people.
He does.
Generally,
He doesn't.
I know with Rose we say he did.
He does.
Really? Like who?
Rose, the woman who in the fireplace.
Oh, Renette. Yeah.
Exactly.
Linda with a Y.
Yeah.
Remember her?
Linda with a... I've got bunches in my hair that was early 2000 fashion, but actually I'm from like the 21st billionth century. Excuse me, Linda, they weren't available there back there.
How do you know? Maybe it comes back in fashion.
Because I know.
Anyway, what do you think of the Carrionites?
What a load of crap.
Yeah.
I don't understand why two of them had hag faces on and one of them only had hag face some of the time.
Who knows?
And she calls him Mother Doomfinger. I was like, oh, for
And Mother
fuck's
Bloodtide.
sake.
It is rather hilarious, that scene at the beginning when the boy comes in and she's like, a suitor should meet his beloved's parents. Mother Doomfinger and Mother Bloodtide. And then she's like hanging on the ceiling and then she drops down. It's like the most hilarious thing.
Yeah, I'm a bit like, what a load of crap names. Doomfinger sounds like something out of James Bond.
Doomfinger. I don't know how the tune goes, but yeah.
That's close.
Yeah. Speaking
Who
of...
sung that?
Shirley Bassey.
What one did Tina Turner sing then?
I don't know.
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger's definitely Shirley Bassey.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Goldeneye.
It's Tina Turner.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, there's a couple of lines that the old haggy Carrionites have that I always find amusing and like to use, though. Like, if something happens too soon, I always want to go, too soon! Like one of them said.
Oh, dear Lord.
And the other one, I made a meme of this because, you know, I did the Doctor Who fan orchestra. There was this panel, and Stephen Moffat was on it, and he was talking about Doctor Who and Sherlock fans and all the creativity that they do. And he mentioned the fan orchestra, and the person interviewing him was like, what's the fan orchestra? And so he sort of briefly explained it, because there's a Doctor Who and a Sherlock one. And he explained what it was, and I was so amazed when I saw that he knew who we were. So I made a meme of it, of him saying that, and then the Carrionites being like, he knows us! He spoke our name!
Oh my God, I was thinking, like, who do you sound like? You sound like fucking Dobby. Too soon, master. Too soon, master.
Oh dear, so many pounds in the jar this episode.
Yeah. It's because it's witchy based.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that it was witchy based.
Yeah, do you know what? I had a memory. I think let's take a flashback actually to an episode from our first series.
If there's an episode of fucking witches, I will be annoyed.
Stay tuned for a podcast of series 3, episode 2, to see what Ben's views are on that.
Oh, so there are witches coming then.
Well, yeah, but you'll see.
Oh.
You'll see.
Fucking God.
And there we go. We finally had it. The episode on witches.
Puke!
Yes, I knew you wouldn't like it.
Imagine if we had, like, merch. So we would have one saying puke.
Who'd want to walk around with a t-shirt that says puke on it?
Well, fans of this podcast.
Who's that?
Anywho,
You'd be walking around and someone said, "Excuse me, you've got puke on your t-shirt."
like, I'm pretty sure there's a Doctor Who podcast out there probably called Anywho now.
Yeah, we should have copyrighted that.
But Stephen was really stuck on about time.
Well, no, we'd already started releasing. I wasn't going to change the title if we started releasing. Speaking of DWFO, we did a whole suite based on this episode, because actually the score in this episode is one of its strengths, I do think. But yeah, it's a lovely score, and Martha's theme was prominent again in a beautiful sort of lutey version. We did that in our suite. I will link in the show notes if you want to check it out.
Link it to the show notes. Link it, baby.
I know it's cheesy and over the top, but I quite enjoy the finale, like with all the Caronites swarming. And
No! It's like a PA Station 1 graphic.
the CGI is not great, but it's particularly the bit when after he says Expelliarmus, and then they all sort of get tornado like sucked up into the thing, like, and all the papers fly, and I think that's quite cool.
Yeah. I'm not a fan.
No,
Do you know why?
go on.
Because they look like bats.
Yeah, they did a bit.
Is that what they actually look like? They don't look like anything like the ladies.
Yeah, I know. Maybe they're sort of shapeshifty, but
Like, don't get me wrong, I like the fact that the Doctor was like, words have powers, your name is a blee blee blue. Blee blee
Carrionites,
blee.
do you know what carrion is?
Insects?
No, I think it's like rotting flesh, like corpse flesh.
Oh, yeah.
So carrionite suggests like maybe
I'm rotten.
they're there, or maybe they feed on rotting flesh. I don't know.
What
It's
does
horrible.
Ike mean?
Huh?
What does Ike mean?
Ite is a suffix. Let's look that up. Followers or adherents of a specific person. So they're followers of rotting flesh. They're obsessed with rotting flesh. I don't know. Anyway, he mentioned the 14 sides and it being connected to the 14 stars of the Rexel something configuration. And it was in the play as well. He said something about Rexel 4. I swear Gareth Roberts just got that. I bet he was at his desk writing and there was a pencil sharpener or something. I'm sure Rexel is a stationery brand.
It is.
Yeah. I swear he just saw that and was like, oh, I'll just use that.
Yeah. Your parents have a stapler with
Yeah,
Rexel on it.
you've seen it,
Because
yeah.
we were asked to get staples once.
And then I know it's a cheesy trope, but the after it's all over and there's this moment of awkward silence and then the tentative applause starts to come in.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a funny trope. I do like that.
Did they think it was all special effects?
Oh, your effect is special indeed. It's not your best line.
I think she's going to die.
Martha,
Yeah.
what makes you think that?
Just because your smile.
I could be just bluffing. You have to wait and see.
Is Russell T Davies a turf?
Oh, God, no.
Why does he keep hiring all these turfs?
Well, the thing is, times were very different in 2007, and trans issues were not quite as in the spotlight as they are these days. So I think people's views weren't quite so known. Yeah. I'm going to mention what happened right at the end of the episode, that you were like, what the fuck? Queen Elizabeth I.
Oh, yeah. Setting up something for later in this season or next series. They thought, oh, this would be smart. That he doesn't know that he's pissed her off yet.
But that's time travel.
So it means that we're going to go further back in time as well.
But yeah, I think it's fun. It's fun that you can see how sometimes the Doctor could meet people in a different order. Like, she's obviously met him before, but he hasn't met her before. And that may be a theme that comes up again in Doctor Who. Do you have anything else you wanted to say about this episode that you didn't like? Do you think you would have enjoyed it more if you hadn't been pissed off about your food? Or
No, because I was finding it quite slow and boring.
even before?
Yeah. Like, I don't think it follows well from such a great opener.
It doesn't, no. And I don't hate it like a lot of people do, but it's really not great at all.
No, like for me, I feel like Doctor Who's successful when the episodes are bam, 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 or wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and thank you for coming, come back again.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm desperate to like it because
You love him.
I love Shakespeare, I love Tudor stuff.
I love Tudor stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm desperate to like it because it's not very often we get to go to that time period in Doctor Who.
Is this still Tudor? I don't think it's Elizabethan.
Oh, Elizabethan, yeah. Well, she comes under the Tudor banner, I think. Because then the next one is James the First,
What
who's
about
a
Mary
Stuart.
then?
Mary was a Tudor as well.
But does she have a special...
No.
Wonder why Elizabeth has such like a... Hey, darling, we're going to call it the Elizabethan area.
Maybe because she was on the throne for a long time.
Yeah.
Like Victoria.
We've just lived through an Elizabethan era.
We've lived through the tail end of it. Anyway, nothing else?
One thing I will say is I do like the whole like names having power
Yeah.
type of thing, but that's very fantasy.
It is, and it doesn't sit well with me for Doctor Who.
No, a lot of fairy stories, like fae stories.
Like Rumpelstiltskin.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, the whole thing is, I bet you can't guess my name,
Yeah,
And then she
it's
does.
all about like
Yeah.
fairies actually hold their real names very tight to their chest,
Yeah, 100%,
because they
yeah.
hold too much power against it over
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
And that is a thing that is used, and I just feel like it's too magical.
Yeah.
Whereas I understood the take that the Doctor said this, he basically had to explain
Instead of
like,
numbers.
it's now words.
Yeah. That doesn't
And
make sense to me. though.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't work. Numbers and words don't directly correspond with each other. They don't.
No.
They can't replace each other very well.
The point is the Doctor said it's just a different kind of science. Your lot chose mathematics. He said, given the right string of numbers, blah, 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 you could do this, do that. He says, you lot chose mathematics as if that was a choice, but it's not a choice. We created mathematics in order to explain what we discovered about the world and the laws of physics.
Yeah.
So it's not as if we just chose maths. Maths is how maths is the way that we understand the universe, but that there's a big leap from that to words just being effectively magic.
Yeah. They were like, we want to do this like witchy story,
Magic words, yeah.
and we want to do let me put it this way: the Doctor said to Squibbly Dibbly, what's his name?
Shakespeare?
That's his name. He said, you can make perfect words, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
yeah.
Well, if that's so, anything he writes can be used as a spell. Anything he writes can be used... He could now he knows he's got power of intent. He probably could go, I'll get myself a nice new lady friend. Bailey's gone. I need a new bit on the side. Need to go down to the local jolly house and
I don't
get
know
my
if,
jollies on.
I don't know if the Carrionites were supposedly doing other things as well to make it sort of ripe for the magic to work. That it couldn't have just been him.
But they were also doing potions, Stephen.
Yeah.
I
know, it's all of the rubbish. And also they made such a thing of, it's words, not numbers. And then the whole speech that opened the portal was like,
numbers.
Between the points 761390, which were numbers.
Yeah.
So...
This is the thing, you can't just, there's a reason why these epic fantasy writers and high fantasy writers and fantasy in general take so long to work out their magic systems.
Yeah.
Because magic systems you need to work out the whole thing.
Yeah.
Can't just slap it together, which just it doesn't feel thought through.
Yeah. Especially in this case when they are basically trying to shoehorn magic into a science fiction framework. So it doesn't quite work. I was trying to think though, because I said about this being a bit of a letdown for Shakespeare, what you could do with Shakespeare that would be a better story. And witches do seem the obvious thing.
For me, I think it would have been the whole mind control-y thing would have been better if they had gone through, like, maybe rather than going for the three witches, maybe have one woman who's an alien who's trying to take over the world, or blah blah blah, and literally make her more Lady Macbethy.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Because Lady Macbeth is very manipulative.
Yeah.
And also, like, I think to myself, Shakespeare is a great character to use, but he's just a bit overdone.
No, I think he needed to be in Doctor Who. I do think he's ripe for being in Doctor Who, but it's just a shame the story was not that great.
Yeah.
I think maybe
Well, then why have we not met Darwin? Why have we not met Christopher Columbus?
I don't know about Columbus, but Darwin, we should. Maybe I still think Shakespeare could be in another story. They could bring Dean Lennox Kelly back and do another story with him, because he's met the Doctor now. Why can you not meet the Doctor again?
He would have to appear in his life within the 16 years he's got left.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, there's plenty of time there.
I'm pretty sure, though, he was already going bald at this point in his
Oh,
life.
probably, yeah. No, they obviously made a decision. They're not going to try and make him look like his portraits because, I guess it would look a bit caricature-y.
Yeah, but also that's what we want.
I do get that. But again, I think that's probably also something that's disputed. We don't know for sure what Shakespeare looked like. The picture that we think of when we think of Shakespeare, there's no proof that that's him. It's just most likely to be him. That's what I believe.
Okay, that's so boring.
I think it's fascinating.
We went to his grave.
We did. You let me drag you along to all the Shakespeare stuff in Stratford.
Oh my god.
What?
Yeah, we went to Stratford upon Avon, went to the birthplace, and then we were going to Anne Hathaway's cottage afterwards, and I made Stephen walk.
Fuck. No, Jesus Christ.
I made Stephen
You were like,
walk
oh,
there.
look at it, it's not that far, and then I said,
made-
there's a bus, but no,
Yeah.
you made us walk.
Yeah, I made Stephen walk there and walk back, and halfway
It was
back,
further than you thought.
Halfway back, we were passing a Green King pub.
Yeah, pub, yeah.
I said, let's go and get something to eat. Let's go get a drink and all that. Let's have a sit down. And there was a wedding going on there. I said, we can't.
It was closed to the public.
Yeah, and so I started walking back, and then all I heard was like, oh, I wanted a drink. I just wanted to sit down. And bear in mind, Stephen's not that much of a whinger.
Oh, thanks.
Like, he can whinge, but normally...
You did say to me at that moment, you said, that's the first time I've ever heard you whinge like that.
Yeah, you're not much of a whinger, but when you whinge, you whinge.
But I was so tired and it was horrible. Anyway. So where's it going to go for you?
Okay, I don't think it deserves to take any of my top ones. I don't think it's that good, but I do feel like it has got a lot of good. Like, I think I'm going to put it just above Christmas Invasion.
What? This is better than the Christmas Invasion for you? Sorry, I know I always...
Describe that one again. What did he do?
So it was Rose, the newly regenerated Doctor, come back. Yeah. He spent most of it in bed, being ill. And there was the spinning Christmas tree, and there was the Sycorax invading.
Oh yeah,
and Harriet
Boomtown's
Jones.
quite good as well.
Boomtown's brilliant.
That's the farty lady.
The farty lady, yeah.
Who should have died but didn't die.
Yeah. Honestly, I say to myself, I'm going to try not to influence you too much, but you say a place for it, and then I'm always like, oh no, and I argue with you.
Yeah, you just should let me just put it where I want to put it.
Yeah, but you just said, the Christmas Invasion was good. Boomtown was good.
Oh, I'm going to put it under Boomtown.
So under Boomtown, but above the Satan Pit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense for you, yeah.
Yeah. If you look at our list, like, do you know what makes me really happy?
What?
That Empty Child has sustained such a high position.
Yeah, it's funny. You really liked that one, didn't you?
I really liked that one. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it is atmospheric and creepy.
It's a special episode.
Yeah.
It's a Stephen Moffat episode.
It stayed at number 2 for you.
It was 1 for a very long
Yeah,
time.
now it's at number 2. It's down at 15 for me. It's halfway.
Yeah.
Okay. What about me? I would say it's definitely going lower than I would have put it a few years ago. It's definitely gone down in my estimations. Oh, it's going low for me. I'm putting it underneath New Earth and above Rise of the Cybermen. which puts it at number 26.
Whole 10 lower than me.
So yeah, it was 16 for you, 26 for me.
But the thing is, though, like, you quite liked Series 2 in some places.
Oh yeah, most of Series 2 has gone below that for you.
Yeah.
Anywho, there we go. That's that episode.
Is Love and Monsters my second favourite Season 2 episode?
Yes, it is.
See? That's good. That's the one I can remember the most.
Yeah, good.
The
just
suction
to
dude.
Huh?
The suction dude.
Yeah, the absorber off. Yeah, just to make you ready, there is obviously there's another Dr. Light episode in this series, but very different.
Cool.
Written by Stephen Moffat this time.
I like Stephen Moffat.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to see what you think of that episode. You know what we forgot to do last time? I forgot to tell you the title of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
So,
What is the episode for the next episode?
it's called Gridlock.
Oh, dear Lord.
What?
Is it something to do with the TARDIS being, like, gridlocked in traffic and space? And it's just it's a boxed episode of the TARDIS.
No, not the TARDIS. But let me also tell you, it's written by Russell T Davies.
Russell T.T.
And we like his episodes, generally.
Davies.
And you might see some familiar faces. Let's put it that way.
Oh.
I'm very excited because it's one of my top ones, so no spoilers, but yeah.
No spoilers. No
spoilers. What is that?
Ron
Weasley.
Okay, we're going to put £5 in the jar today.
Yeah.
So I think Stephen's going to make a little tally.
Yeah.
With how many times, and then at the end we'll tell you how much we'll make a donation to mermaids.
Or, yeah, I think mermaids.
Mermaids or another trans charity.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Thank you.
Thank you
for talking to me.
I always talk to you. I say hello to you every morning. I'm like, hello. Yeah. We don't actually say good morning. We say hello.
Do we?
Yeah.
I say good morning sometimes.
I say hello.
Yeah, you do.
I maybe very rarely say good morning.
Okay. Thanks for listening. If you want to stay in touch with us between now and next week, you can find us on all the links that are in the show notes. And we'll be back next week for Gridlock. And until then,
goodbye. Stay fantastic.
Stay fantastic. Bye.